Okay, this is my August the 6th update of the garden this week. I am satisfied I finally got a female pumpkin flower. This is for the Montana Jack squash. So the good news, I will likely get a fruit this year. It's my first year growing this and I actually got fruit. Seems that the plant needed to actually grow on the ground instead of being trellised in this region. Might try one more year trellising it, but that seems to actually reduce yields. I guess the plants can't handle squash vine borer damage as well. Oh, and they're not allowed to root secondary roots along the root nodes. And still learning. I got better yields this year than last year growing squash on the ground. Here are the two Mandan squash developing. I pollinated them on July the 23rd. Right now is August the 6th, so it will still be a few weeks before they finally are ready to pick. And of course right here is the corn. It's finally starting to produce male pollen tassels. Hopefully it shows up on camera. And the cornstalk beans are catching up with the corn to the point where they might wrap up the female flower stalks, the female tassels. I'm going to have to come in here and make sure to free up the female flowers so they get pollinated. Let's go on to the next bed. Interesting, the Cherokee cornstalk beans I planted seem to be catching up with the mung beans and the other pole beans that my neighbor wanted to grow here. This bed shows moderate damage from bean beetles. For some odd reason, these beans don't show as much damage. And now I'm starting to wonder whether or not they're mung beans. They look a lot like pictures I've seen of fava beans. So that could be another alternative. One thing I'm amazed about is only one of the lamb's quarter seeds I planted actually sprouted properly and is now maturing. I'm wondering if that's one I actually planted or if it was already a weed in the yard. I'm going to save seeds from it anyway if it actually flowers before the frost. As for these mustard right here, it's getting to the point now where the cabbage worm damage and flea beetle damage is getting severe enough. I might have to pull these up for the last harvest. And here the mustard, for some odd reason, only on the left side sprouted, but not on the right side. Must have been some issues with the seed I was using. If I remember correctly, some mustard plants don't sprout as well in hot weather. And over here, this is the only zontele plant that made it so far and is actually maturing. Here's going to be a massive genetic bottleneck, but I'll save seeds from it anyway and plant them along with some other seeds I got from I forgot the name of the company. I think it was Wild Seed something or other. Oh, well, I'll be planting some more wild zontele that I got from a seed company later. Hopefully I can save seed from it. Unfortunately, looks like none of the other plants are emerging for the wild zontele. So I'm guessing there might be a nutrient deficiency in the soil, or they just don't sprout well in hot weather. Here's some of the tomatoes that I got from a neighbor. Seem to be doing surprisingly well. Got some late fruit this time. And let me go ahead and show other garden bed. Other three sister garden bed. And The corn is almost about the same height as the other garden bed. I still don't see any male pollen tassels or female flowers. And kind of wonder if there's any trace left of the original corn stalk beans I planted in here. All I see are badly damaged leaves. Probably doesn't even show up on camera. Thankfully, I planted other beans in other beds in the garden, so that compensates for the bean beetle damage here. I'm hoping after a few years I can fix the problem with more amendments added to the soil maybe, and plant some other plants around here that actually encourage the beneficial little insects that actually attack bean beetles. Now as for the Holmes Kusa squash down here, it's doing surprisingly well. After harvesting the other squash, I'm getting some more female flowers. I'm impressed so far. I don't see any stress from squash vine borer damage in spite of the having to pull out a few larvae a few weeks ago. Here's some more female flowers. That's good news. Here's the squash I'm saving for seed. I pollinated around, if I remember correctly, June 24th. And so it's going to be the end of August by the time I harvest it for seed. We'll see how the vine goes by then. Hopefully the vine doesn't completely die out. I had this issue here where I accidentally had the flower drop off here when I was trying to hand pollinate. Because I don't think I'll be needing any more plants for seed, I'm going to go ahead and let these the squash bees do the work for my remaining female flowers for this Holmes Kusa if I want to go ahead and just eat the fruits. I'm a bit worried though about my vining yellow squash because I don't see any definite signs of female flowers except on the compact bush plant here. There is one vine though that shows a tiny flower node that might develop into a female flower, but I still need to wait a few days more for it to fully develop so I can get confirmation or not. I still can't tell. Hopefully I can get some yellow squash this year for adapting a landrace to my garden. Mainly, one reason I wanted to actually grow stuff this year is to continue work on the vining yellow crookneck project I was working on with a few other gardeners. Hopefully I can actually get progress on it this year. If these yellow squash plants actually set fruit in time. I planted them a bit late, so hopefully I didn't wait too late to plant them in order to get fruit. And here is the bed with my carrots. The purple carrots I planted, the Pusa Asita, or Asita, I don't remember, and Black Nebula finally reached a size where I was comfortable mulching them with some finished leaf compost. However, the early Scarlet horn carrots right here still are lagging behind. Might end up adding some extra fertilizer for them. I don't know what the issue is. Whatever's going on, I went ahead and planted a second crop of carrots on the 1st of the month, sometime at the end of last weekend. And it'll be a few days before I see how they sprout. Meantime, I'll keep watering them and checking on them, make sure they're doing okay. And I'll go and show you the cornfield beans under the sunflowers now. Now I'm actually quite glad that I planted the Cherokee cornfield beans under the sunflowers as well as the corn stalks, because it looks right now the beans are doing a lot better under the sunflowers than the ones in the three sister corn beds. They are getting about waist high right now. I hope they actually set fruit by September, but it's a little early to tell. They are vining up the stalks, and so far I see no damage from bean beetles. In the meantime, the sunflowers are growing under are finally setting out flower buds. My neighbor who's growing these actually wants to attract goldfinches, so saving seed for snacking or making oil is not much of a concern here. Might save a few seeds for next year. Anyway, that was the status of my garden this week. If you like content, you can go ahead and subscribe. I apologize for crappy editing. In the future, I'll try to do a better job. And I'm signing out.